So I was playing my Soul Silver game that I had for about a year now. I had brought an action replay and was hacking it almost every day. Getting legendaries in Pokemon not able to be obtained by any means but trade, which was out of the question for me. In my team, I have a Typhlosion, a Charizard, a Raichu, a Shiny Umbreon, a Nidoking, and an Ampharos. All were level 100. Invertibly, I became bored with being able to beat every opponent I came across in the game. So I decided right then that I would restart my game, and I did. I chose the Cyndaquil again, since it was my favorite starter Pokemon. Being so used to the hacking, I used the codes for things such as the 900 rare candies and leveled up Cinder, the Cyndaquil I chose, up to level 13 so I could at least battle with him a few times. Soon I have him evolve after battling many Pidgeys and Rattatas. I realized that I still haven't gotten the egg from Mr. Pokemon, so I went ahead and retrieved it. This was when I used the hack to fill my Pokedex. I discovered a modified code that allows me to choose whatever Pokemon I encounter, so I chose a Charmander. I captured one and named it Carkol, putting it at a second spot of my team, between the egg and Cinder, who was now a Quilava. I figured I could use the trigger buttons to chain the Charmander so I can get a shiny. However, this apparently didn't work with the version I have, so I done all that just for nothing. I restarted the game after saving and put it in a new code, one that made all wild and legendary Pokemon shiny permanently. I would wind up with a shiny Charmander, naming it Chimney. Obliviously, I was going to get more attached to this shiny Charmander. I battled with it almost every encounter and trainer confrontation. Soon it evolved into Charmeleon at level 16. By now I have my team Cinder the Quilava, Frost the shiny Flareon, Jimmy the shiny Charmeleon, an egg, and Carkol the Charmander. I haven't used Carkol in ages. All my battles were fought by Cinder and Chimmy, my most powerful Pokemon. Frost had struck in a few times, and the egg had just hatched, so I used the experience here to level up the Togepi. Carkol remained at level 6 in the very back of my team. I didn't think much of it. I mean, it was just a game, right? So I would just wait and level him up later. That's all. It wasn't a big deal. Then came the day I turned on my game and battled the Elite Four. Cinder was a Typhlosion, Chimmy was a shiny Charizard, which I had been wanting for so long. By now I quit using the RA in-game, so all the battles were fairs in the sense that I wasn't using any codes. And defeated them all one by one. The champion came and went down with a crash. I was the new champion. I traveled in the Kanto region to see Professor Oak. He gave me the lecture, and finally I got to choose my starter for the region. I was obviously going to choose a Charmander, since I had to think fire types. When I pressed A, the little window that held the sprite popped up. The only difference thing was that the sprite was missing. The cry didn't play either, but in its place was an odd fuzzy sound. It was sort of like a Charmander's cry, but with a bunch of noise and toned down. I was a bit confused. I figured it was from all of my previous hacking, but nothing like this had ever happened before. I exited from the window and tapped on my Pokemon icon. All the names have been changed to RMEMBRME, and the levels were all the same, at level 6. All except Carkol. He was completely normal, but his level was just question mark, question mark, question mark. Now I was freaked out. I went to Carkol's summary and checked him out. The sprite looked the same, except he was frowning and his eyes seemed to be outlined with a dark red. I still thought of it was some kind of glitch, but the more I mulled it over, the more it was drawn away from just being a mere glitch. Glitches don't cause sprites to frown, nor they do cause names and levels to be changed so oddly. I exited the summary and went back to my Pokemon. They were all still the same. I decided to keep playing since the situation didn't seem too bad, just a bit creepy. I wandered into some tall grass and encountered a Pokemon. It was just a normal Rattata. I sent out Shimmy. But when he emerged from the Pokeball, he didn't cry. He didn't even move. I noticed something even more particular about him. Just after the shiny animation finished, his eyes were hollow and black as night. They seemed to be surrounded by crimson as well. I forced myself on. I tapped the fight option, and he apparently had lost all of his moves but Perish Song, which wasn't a possible move for a Charizard to learn. I did not teach him that. I sighed and tapped on the odd move. The only thing that happened was the Rattata turned black and then disintegrated. I sat there for a minute after the battle ended. Now I was freaked out for real. The odd things happening in the game so far just interested me too much. I had to keep going. I went back and checked my Pokemon again. Their names were changed yet again. This time, though, Karkle was missing. All that was left were my Typhlosion named Goto, my Charizard named Lav, my new Togekiss named En, my Flareon named Der, and my freshly evolved Ampharos named Town. I caught the message immediately. Go to Lavender Town. I couldn't stop myself from going. I used LAV to fly to Lavender Town, which for some reason was already able to flown to. When I arrived, no music played. I checked my team again in case any more messages were there. Of course there was. GOTO was now PO, LAV was now KE, EN was now MON, and Town was now Tower. Again, I caught the message, Pokemon Tower. I followed the message demands entering the tower. I traveled up all the stairs, not encountering a single ghost Pokemon or anything. When I came to the end, I found a Charmander sprite. I went up to it and pressed the A button to talk to it, if it had anything to say. It did. I entered a battle with it. When the Charmander slid across the screen like any other Pokemon would, I recognized it on the spot. Its name was Karkle, and with the level ... He looked as though his eyes had been cut out and the blood wiped clean, hollowed and black as a pit. His nose was bleeding, but he wasn't frowning anymore. He had no mouth to frown with. All that remained was an exposed lower jawbone. His flame was even out. The battle music didn't play. All that appeared was the text box that usually announced what you have encountered. It had another message for me. Why did you forget me? I pressed the A button for the next message, but nothing happened. It seems like he was taking his time. Another message popped up. I loved you. Did you love me too? I was tempted to reply, of course I loved him. He was my Pokemon. I began to feel bad, waiting for his next message. You never battled with me. You never looked at me. I've waited all this time. The sprite moved now. It had the same animation as a normal Charmander would, but the cry was all fuzzy. You left me to rot! The message shocked me. I almost said something, but another message stopped me. It's your fault I have become this. The messages keep coming. Everyone sends shivers down up to my spine. I've rotted away. You left me to die. Are you happy? Is this what you wanted? Look at me. Look at me. Look at me! The sprite shook again, crying out of the fuzzy, somewhat mournful, eerie noise. I was almost trembling now, sweat dripping down my cheek. There was one last message that popped up. Remember me! Then the screen went black. I left the console alone for a few months. When I finally built enough courage to start again, I did not hack it. I played through all the way through Kanto with normal training. When I got to pick my starter again, I chose the Charmander. I put him in the front and began training him like the others until we beat the Elite Four together and finally the champion. As our names were entered in the Hall of Fame, I felt a sort of chill go up my spine as my Charizard was shown. His name flashed across the page first. Carcole.